So Trump decided to nuke the entire crypto market, and that's pretty bullish, right? Why? Because we get lower prices, which is cool. And once again, in crypto, you need to dynamically manage your portfolio. I think for Bitcoin, it was pretty obvious that we were sellers above $120,000 and buyers at 110 and then lower. I think it's the same for ETH. For ETH, we are sellers above, since like few weeks now, above like $4,600, and we are buyers below 3,800. So that's the first thing. Trump nuked the market with tariff, and this gives us like a bunch of opportunities. Second thing, you should not be shaken out by market makers or like by those like liquidation moves done by by the market. You should embrace that. That gives you like a bunch of opportunities to buy spot. Don't use leverage. So that's the second thing. Any guys that tell you to do leverage, unfollow. I think we have seen like records liquidations on the leverage. I think it's the first night that we reached like 20 billion. Like it's so much compared to like the previous records we had in terms of liquidation. So really, you need to avoid leverage. Otherwise you will just get killed. Really, you can do leverage very little times in the market. Or like sometimes shorting, but like it has to be done like a proper way. If you're not a professional, don't touch leverage. And all the guys telling you the opposite, that you should do leverage to become rich in crypto, they are just here like to farm the fees. So be careful. Once again, in trenches, we have been waiting for quite some time, I would say. Like this week in the group, I've said multiple times that I was waiting, for the crash. I think on Friday, it was basically like a day also with like a bunch of leverage position was going to be closed out on the market, a lot of option stuff. So I was like, okay, I wait because we had already a bunch of exposure on spot. And so like no leverage, waiting, and really waiting before the crash, So that was super cool because we got the crash now, and now it's about allocating the smartest way possible. So yeah, if you want to join trenches, you have a link in the description. First link, you just join, and then you can join trenches group. Another interesting one is like we had few alpha in trenches. Sometimes it goes super fast, sometimes it goes a bit slower. But like we had one on skate chain. So basically the goal was to play the pump. So we played the pump, we are out, and then skate chain really tanked. During the crash. And so that's why you have to stay dynamic. When you buy a crypto, you always want to have a take profit. A real strategy. If you have no strategy and you just buy spot waiting, it will drive you nowhere. So be careful with that. Really be careful. I think another cool one we had was the Binance Smart Chain with Cake. So we basically did an alpha on Cake mid-July. So it took a bit of time to play off. So it was mid-July. We said below $2.5 we buy. We accumulate some Cake until you reach your exposure, and then we had multiple take profit. I think first one was at 3.6, 30%, 4.4, something like that, 30%. It went to like 4.6 plus, and then it tanked. It crashed during the market. So once again, you want to stay dynamic and you want to take profit. So you can't buy random shit and like wait. No, you have to have a strategy. Buy the proper asset, time the market, and have like an exit plan. And that was a spot trade. No leverage. So of course, everything I'm saying in this video is not a financial advice, right? But we have been killing it in trenches. Feel free to join the group, especially if you want to have a better understanding on how to manage your risk in crypto. I was super surprised on Saturday, on Sunday to see all those tweets, of guys saying, yeah, I've lost everything, I've been flushed. No, it can't be like that, You can't be like, of course it's a black swan, but the black swan can always happen, So that's why you need to manage your risk the proper way. And, leverage trading is really advanced, in terms of risk management. And so that's why you need to be super cautious with. So otherwise, on the markets, so for Bitcoin, I think nothing new under the sun for Bitcoin. I think this zone is like the sell zone for now. 110 is like the buy zone. I really hope we don't break that zone, because if we were to break that 110 zone, that starts to look really bad for Bitcoin, and altcoins will suffer even more. So we want to see consolidating. On my side, I feel we can have like a second flush, on Monday. That will be more news driven from TradeFi, less from the crypto market. But I think most of the leverage have been flushed out. The interesting thing will be to monitor all the flows from the ETF coming up on Monday, Tuesday, to see like the TradeFi money buying the market. But I think we can have another flush. That's why I'm not really rushing, on buying crypto. For example, if I was like a few weeks ago, if it goes to like 3,800, like I would buy. I will not buy. I feel like there is like better opportunities on the market, so I pass on ETH, but perhaps I'm wrong. On Solana, I think it has been like even more violent, So basically the idea is like we were like here selling above 230, buying below 200. We did another time, and starting buying, I had some orders, 200, 980, 980. And basically what I've written here is like based on the fundings, I think it's quite some time I haven't seen funding on Solana staying below 100% a year for quite some time. So yeah, the thing is like you don't want to it can attract, leverage traders and then they will get flushed out again, But yeah, on some trades, at a personal level, I'm playing some bounce, on the market to basically just, profit from like a small pump, Basically what I do here and what I recommend you to do is like depends your exposure, If you are really exposed, you want to play some bounce, You don't want to get long-term exposure here. It's just like to play like some kind of like more trading on the market. You don't want to be like, or like if you have a strategy on some coins, it's about accumulation, but it really depends. So really make sure your plan is well made, but don't buy randomly or random coins. Don't use leverage. Here is like really spot. Also, there is some rotation to be done. For example, I had like a bag staked on hype, on chain. So basically, I took it to basically try to rotate to like smaller crypto or like get some cash to basically be like, okay, this crypto like got nuked so hard, so I want to buy it. So that's very cool. I think for some of you watching me who are like from the Mirror Club, if you followed the portfolio once again, it shows the importance of like managing your risk, having take profits, entry zones, I think a good example is Sui. So Sui has been one, and trust me, it's super hard to wait that long, That's why I keep saying wait, So for Sui, we exited at $4. So I think we exited during July, around here, let's say. I exited all my position. And then the first entry point on Sui was at 2.4 around here, and then it was at 1.6. And basically me, I had my limit orders posted. I was like, okay, that's my portfolio. I want to allocate this part to Sui. So I've put like some buy orders here and here, So the two got filled. So I sold the exposure that I got at 1.6, I sold it. So already a decent trade, from the flash crash, like 50%, on this part. And I basically will keep my exposure, the coins I've purchased at 2.4, I think. I don't say it's the best opportunity in long term, but if the Sui goes down again, it goes to 1.6, like slowly, I will get, again, I think most likely a bag, So that just explains you how important risk management is. And nobody talks about risk management, in crypto. And so that's the most important thing, to really always have take profit, stop loss. So of course, only invest like the money you can afford to lose. But personally here, I had also like opportunities outside of crypto. But I think I will pour like a bit more like cash in crypto because I think some opportunities are coming and I just don't want to miss them, And it's always the same thing, when everybody wants to buy in crypto or like when everybody is like rushing, most of the time you want to get out, And so that's why I don't want to sound like it could sound weird, but like, when everybody was talking about Binance Smart Chain, doing all the memes on Binance Smart Chain, I told the guy in trenches, don't buy any coin, So many Kabal coins, it's impossible to figure out which are the coins that could perform, So I said, okay, we stay completely out. We had an exposure to Cake, so we are winning somehow. Cake pumped, we sold when everybody wanted to buy Cake because it was like the new thing and so on. And then we had the flash crash and everybody got liquidated, some kind. So yeah, that's the most important thing I would say. And once again, something very important I wanted to mention is like that I mentioned yesterday in the live, for trenches. So we purchased Cake here, we sold here and here, If it goes back, let's say in the coming weeks here at 2.4, 2.5, so it's the same price that we bought during July, I will not buy, And that's the thing you have to understand. And because sometimes I have people saying, oh, Julian, like you shared that coin, it pumped, it went back here, should I buy again? No, it's a different situation, It's a different macro, it's a different like ecosystem, it's a different, so many things are different, So I'm not buying if it goes back here, So there is a timing, in the market. I think it's the same for like few coins like Pump, like IFE or like Fioso Alpha we did recently, There is a timing in the market. And when you miss the timing is missed, So that's another very important thing. So once again, on my side, I think I want to get a bit more like long-term exposure to like Solana, BTC, ETH. Some of them I'm waiting, some of them I'm buying, slowly. And on some other altcoins, the goal is to make some kind of like bounce play, like I buy, the thing pumps like 20%, I sold a bit, 30% I sell, and a bit more, because after those liquidation, it's always hard to predict, We could have like another like down move, but it really depend like the macro, but definitely you want to be contrarian here, You have way better risk reward here than 1 week ago when prices were like 50 or like 30 or like even percent like more than that, So that's so important. Okay, we looked at the fundings look super impressive. And even here, it looks tempting to open some longs because you are paid compared to spot. I stay in spot market, you know. Be careful of like some fake yields in crypto, you know, of like trying to grind like few percent, you know, when you could lose like a lot. And that's why, you know, every time I see some guys doing leverage trading in crypto, most of the time on Twitter, based on like where the liquidation price is or like how they size compared to the overall portfolio or like the overall exposure, I'm always like, this is losing trading, you know. So at some point, and I don't say that like to sound like sarcastic or whatsoever, but at some point they will just get liquidated, you know. So that's why manager is the proper way. So interesting thread from Alvaro here, explaining the liquidation cascade, you know. So always same thing. Then no more liquidity in the market, and then we had the big flush that has been like generated by basically China doing some stuff to the US in terms of tariff and like some moves, and then Trump reacting quite a savage way, you know, I would say. And of course they do it on a Friday afternoon here, like night here where I am, European time, to basically when they know there is less liquidity. So that's important. And also like a tweet from Xir, the worst might be over for the Pengu. Peggy Penguins hope everyone got their forever Pengu road to recovery. So basically, you know, a bunch of liquidation also on the NFT market because some guys use leverage, you know. And I would say, you know, if people want to use leverage, you know, even for the NFT and so on, why not? But I feel crypto is so volatile that you don't really need that leverage, you know, especially in the NFT market. You just need to be patient, wait for the good opportunities, manage risk the proper way, do some buy, post your take profit, and then wait, you know. And that's the thing we're trying to do, you know, in trenches. Then perhaps, let me check some other coins. I had a lot of questions about Pengu. So Pengu, we purchased most of my bag I purchased here. I exited everything during that up here. Now it's down, honestly. It starts to become appealing. I think my first buy is way down below here. But you know, I'm super greedy, you know. So now I know, I know myself, you know. So I really want the best opportunity. So I'm really waiting. So yeah, I think I will wait to see how it consolidates and perhaps go lower before buying, you know. When some other coins, you know, here on the dip, I purchased them because I was like, okay, that looks like a good opportunity. I want to get exposure, you know. So yeah, I don't know if I should chat about all the coins. We have Aster that looks super great in terms of like technical analysis, you know, the chart looks great. So these are the coins that perhaps will do, you know, like a V-shaped recovery, really pushing and then the thing consolidating, you know, and then going up, or just having a small bounce, you know, and then going back up, you know. So that's why, you know, on most of the coins here, because we have lack of clarity in terms of news, I just want to play some bounce, you know, on the cash I have, part of the cash I have, you know. And some coins I like buying for like bigger trades, you know. But for Aster, I think I would just play a bounce on my side. Yeah, and I think the most important thing is to look at the strongest coin on the dip or like on the recovery and focus on them, you know. Some coins, you know, they got obliterated and they're like, look like they are dying. You don't want to buy those coins, you know, because like, or either if you have like a very long term, I would say conviction and like you want to accumulate kind of. But yeah, so I don't know, I think I did like a full tour. I didn't want it to go too much like in details on everything. But I think you have my general understanding, you know, and of course, you know, I have some friends, you know, they sold like ETH thanks to me kind of like above that price, and like they are buying today part of the exposure, and they do a decent trade, you know, they do like a plus 20% on their ETH. They believe long term into ETH, they believe long term into ETH. So yeah, why not? I mean, you know, that also makes sense, you know. Me, perhaps I will buy some ETH just to buy some NFTs, looking if there is some opportunities I'm monitoring, but yeah, I prefer to add like Solana, you know, I feel Solana is a better trade, just on my side, on my way of thinking. So yeah, that was your quant, that was it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment any crypto or any video ideas in the description. See you soon for another video, and